would like to start off today by saying that sometimes I can be a huge pessimist. I tend to look at things that could go wrong, the things that made my day or my year bad. I focus on the small things that bother me or overthink about minute details. You may not always see that as I serve my call to this congregation as we work to bring light and love to the center of our communities. But I like to be honest, and I am human. So to me, I have never quite understood why Palm Sunday is such a joyous celebration. While yes, we see Jesus triumphantly enter Jerusalem, it is only the beginning of the, so to speak, nightmare that will unravel for him in the coming days of Holy Week. I have always struggled to take the highs with the lows, the hope with the chaos. But I think that for Palm Sunday, we have to take both perspectives and let them live harmoniously together. Palm Sunday, also known as Passion Sunday, is the joy at the top of the mountain of Lent, before we journey back down the mountain into the trenches of Holy Week. As we, as a congregation, have prepared for Palm Sunday, I have heard many stories from some of you, with rich, wonderful memories about this day. One specifically, in which the kids riding the donkey bumps into the pews of some newcomers, causing abrupt laughter, and those people kept coming back after that to this day. Many people note the music as their favorite parts of this worship service, the joyful and even soulful feeling that comes from the celebration of Jesus arriving in Jerusalem. Palm Sunday is a mix of emotions. First, the triumphant gathering welcome Christ into the city. The crowd welcomes him with palms waving, lining the streets, placing down garments just for him to walk on. But slowly and surely, as the day grows darker, we are met with a change of environment and emotions. The streets are empty, the barks are bare from the stripped palms, and Christ's future becomes more clear. Sometimes it can be unclear what we do with this day as a church. Do we celebrate all that Christ has done, his triumph into the city, the crowd showing love and support? Or do we take a more solemn tone and realize that Christ's death is soon to take place and settle into a place of sadness and heartache for our leader and teacher? As with any worship service that I help lead, I have the pleasure of picking some of the hymns that we sing. One of them that felt very crucial to me on this triumphant yet conflicting day is our final hymn, A Cheering, Chanting, Dizzy Crowd. This hymn tells of the contrasting sounds of Holy Week as we move from a cheering, optimistic, happy crowd to the then silence as Jesus is mentally preparing to meet God in the coming days. It stands out among other music on Palm Sunday as it mixes the joy and the sorrow amid the day. The first two verses show the excitement of the people of Jerusalem who are able to greet this mighty teacher and leader that they have heard so much about. The last three verses then show the contrast of what is to come. The verses that stand out to me, which are after this triumphant entry, go as follows. When the day dimmed down to deepening dark, the crowd began to fade, till only trampled leaves and bark were left from the parade. Lest we be fooled because our hearts have surged with passing praise, remind us, God, as this week starts, where Christ has fixed his gaze. Instead of palms, a winding sheet will have to be unrolled, a carpet much more fit to greet the King a cross will hold. These words are very powerful and very truthful. They can sometimes overshadow the excitement from the crowd at Jesus' arrival. Now, some pastors refer to this Sunday as a doorway. It's a kind of weird thing to say at first glance, right? How can this Sunday act as a doorway? It acts as a doorway because we are leaving behind or closing the door on one part of Christ's life and walking into this new room, this new place, the sadness of Jesus' coming death. And while there is separation from this doorway of triumph and of sadness, they coexist in the same house. The emotions may change at the doorway, but they are part of the same story and same journey that Christ and his followers are on. I think it's really important, especially as we move into Holy Week, that we take both the cheering and joyful crowd and the silence and solemn tone, both in one hand. It helps to realize that this Sunday we go through the doorway of Christ's teaching and leading to his persecution in the coming days of Holy Week. Now, in the Celtic Christian tradition, the doorway, or the threshold, is a marker of transition. It acts as a marker of transition because it is between the annual seasons, between day and night, or even between work and home in the short space of a daily commute. But it is also referred to during prayer. Irish author Jessica Brown said, "There are prayers for literally crossing a threshold, but also prayers for the metaphorical crossings in our lives, for dawn and dusk, for the start of a new task, for the beginning of a journey. The threshold is a designated space or time to open up to God." This viewpoint of a threshold as a space in which to open to God, to the changes of the season, to the changes of our life, it is just revolutionary to me. Thresholds can be openings for change, for passion, for care, for love, for peace, to awaken pieces of yourself in your service to God. Thresholds do not have to be so revolutionary, though, either. They can be as simple as the examples Jessica Brown gives. Rising from bed, walking to work, a break during meetings, washing the laundry. They are all moments where we can pray, awaken our hearts for the next part of our day, and walk through the other side of the doorway. So as we look to Holy Week, we can think of Palm Sunday as a threshold, a moment where a closed door opens to allow for a new moment in time, a new opportunity to connect to God. In our own faith journeys, the thresholds we face may never be clear. It will never be that we are only living in the highest of highs or the lowest of lows. When we learn about Palm or Passion Sunday, we can take that lesson from it. Maybe we can learn to take both the highs and lows in each hand without over-focusing on the good or the bad singularly. As we travel down our road of faith, it will not be all sunshine and roses. We may be in a transition period. We may be at the top of a roller coaster or the bottom of the pit. That is just the plain truth. I'm not in the business of sugarcoating, so maybe that's why it's easy for me to admit it. So while there is a sadness being foreshadowed. That does not mean that there is not more light up ahead. There is hope as we look ahead to Easter, joy in the return of the King. Amen.